25 insane Kobe Bryant stories you've never heard.
Did you know that Kobe was never supposed to be nicknamed the Black Mamba, and that it was a title originally meant for Michael Jordan, or that Kobe recorded an unreleased rap album with 16 songs, or that he was tortured by Navy SEALs just because he wanted to see if he could handle it?
What?
Kobe Bean Bryant was truly one of a kind, on and off the court. He was a maniacal worker, a ruthless competitor, and a 5-time champion. But those are things most people know about Kobe. What they probably don't know is that he was kind to strangers, had weird obsessions, and unusual hobbies. These are the stories about Kobe you may not have heard before. Kobe's Mamba mentality was obvious from the beginning. At Lower Merion High, he was already dragging teammates into early morning workouts, often using them as guinea pigs to hone his skills. Teammate Rob Schwartz recalled playing one-on-one against Kobe to a target score of 100. The most points Schwartz ever scored was 12, while Kobe often reached 80 before Rob made a single basket. After he made the infamous press conference announcement that he'd skip college and take his talents to the NBA, Kobe signed the biggest shoe deal ever for somebody that never played a second of NBA basketball, a $48 million deal with Adidas. But other than sponsors, Bryant was a hot commodity for many NBA teams, and he shouldn't have been drafted by the Hornets with the 13th pick. The Nets had the 8th pick, and they wanted to select Bryant. But due to his Adidas deal, Kobe wanted to play in a big market, which New Jersey wasn't. Both Kobe and his agent, Arn Tellem, personally called the Nets and threatened that Bryant would hold out, and that Tellem would never do business with them again if they drafted him. Michael Jordan's agent, David Falk, also called the Nets and urged him to select his client, Kerry Kittles, also making threats that no one he represented would ever play for the Nets if they didn't select Kittles. And the Nets finally crumbled, selecting Kittles with the 8th pick. This opened the way for Kobe to fall to 13th, where he was finally selected by the Hornets, and then traded to LA. Bryant immediately became a star, but he never wanted to be a Hollywood star. Director Spike Lee wanted Kobe as his first choice to play Jesus Shuttleworth, and he got game. But Kobe was too focused on basketball, and he rejected the offer. And Jesus was ultimately played by Ray Allen. However, it's not like Kobe didn't like the spotlight. Bryant was a huge fan of hip-hop, and after seeing multiple NBA players release rap albums, he wanted to do the same. So in 2000, he recorded the 16-track album titled Visions, featuring plenty of high-profile artists like Nas, 50 Cent, and Destiny's Child. Kobe even performed at the 2000 All-Star Game. But his debut single, K.O.B.E., featuring Robert Banks, did not live up to Columbia Records' expectations, and the project was quietly dropped without the entire album ever being released. His managers believed that releasing a rap album would hurt Kobe's image, and since the album wasn't that great, they advised him not to release it, and Bryant gave up on trying to be a rapper. Now,
you're still in my head. So now all we have to do is go to Automate. Let's hit convert and see the result.
Now, during that time, Kobe wasn't really very well liked by his teammates, who believed that he was brash, selfish, and too concerned with his public image. Kobe didn't associate much with anybody outside of basketball, and when he got married to Vanessa, not only did he not invite any of his teammates to the wedding, they didn't even know he was dating her, let alone that he had tied the knot. Bryant was always a loner, which stemmed from his childhood in Italy, but the rest of the Lakers could live with that. What they hated most was that he wasn't passing the ball as much as he should have, especially in the first year with Phil Jackson, who instituted the famous triangle offense. Kobe would often try to take over games and beat his man off the dribble instead of making a simple pass. And it had gotten so bad that Shaq actually developed a hand signal not to pass the ball to Kobe. When Kobe was young, he would be going in and just trying to get him. So the rest of us had a universal kind of code that if we looked at each other and gave a signal, that meant Kobe didn't get the ball anymore. But Bryant wasn't bothered with that, and he only started to get interested in his teammates' lives in the later part of his career. And even though he was cool with many of them, the Black Mamba revealed that he only had 4 close friends during his 20-year career: Derek Fisher, Al Gasol, Caron Butler, and Ronnie Turiaf. Butler actually had a very interesting story about Kobe's Mamba mentality, about how Kobe erased the coach's play for the final possession, asking his teammates who wanted to be part of history.
Game is tied. It's only like 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Shot clock. Rudy T is like drawing up all type of it on the board. Kobe said, just give me the ball right here. He was like, whoever want to take the ball out will be part of history.
However, when he believed that his teammates were lazy or simply lacked talent, Kobe was known to be kind of an a-hole. And nobody knows that better than Smush Parker. The Lakers starting point guard in 2005 and 2006 tried his best to get Kobe to like him, but Bryant never wanted to have any sort of relationship with Smush.
And I said it was an overrated experience playing with Kobe Bryant. I dealt with this man for 2 seasons, and my locker was here. His locker was here for 2 seasons. I watched this man put on his shoes every day for work. The man never spoke to me. I wasn't the man on the bench. I started with this man. I was his coworker. Like, we shared a cubicle side by side. How do you do that for 2 seasons and never hold a conversation? Never, what's up, good morning.
And with opponents, Kobe was just as ruthless. And after he broke Roy Hibbert's nose, Bryant gave one of the most cold-blooded responses ever.
He was wearing a mask, and it came from an elbow from Kobe. And when he went to Kobe, it was like a little kid. Thinking Kobe was going to be like, oh, no, my bad, I'm sorry I did that. So he's like, Kobe, yo, you broke my nose, man. Kobe said, stone face. He said, you should have got the weight.
But one of the most insane facts about Kobe was that he was never supposed to be called Black Mamba. In 2002, Nike developed a new laceless shoe made from Tech Flex material, and all the executives thought it looked like a snake. So when he got home after a development meeting, Gentry Humphrey, the head of marketing, looked up the most badass snake there is. The top result was Black Mamba. The snake was described as lightning fast, agile, and feared, the same qualities of the star NBA guard for whom they were designing the shoe. From there, it was time to create a global campaign featuring the Black Mamba and present it to the player who would ultimately represent it. And that player was Michael Jordan. But as soon as Humphrey began to walk Jordan through the Black Mamba concept, he knew there was a major problem. You could just tell from the very beginning, Humphrey said, he was uncomfortable. It turned out that Jordan didn't have a problem with the shoe itself or the marketing story behind it. What he didn't like was snakes. He once grounded his sons for a month after they put...
Really? That is so interesting.
fake snakes in his pen. And if he watched TV and a snake came on, MJ would switch the channel. And because of his fear of snakes, the Jordan 19s, released in 2003, had no mention of the Black Mamba nickname. Exactly 1 year later, in a twist of cosmic fate, a new film directed by Quentin Tarantino was released, Kill Bill Volume 2, with a character in the movie nicknamed the Black Mamba. By then, Kobe had already signed with Nike after his deal with Adidas expired, as Kobe wasn't satisfied with the quality of the Adidas Kobe 2s, commonly known as the toasters. When he saw the movie and the quote about the Black Mamba, Bryant was transfixed.
In Africa, the saying goes, in the bush, an elephant can kill you, a leopard can kill you, and a black mamba can kill you. But only with the mamba, and this has been true in Africa since the dawn of time, is death sure.
Kobe immediately identified with the snake's killer instinct, its quickness, and the way it attacked prey. Bryant then developed the concept of the Mamba mentality, which served him to compartmentalize emotions and helped him transform into a killer on the court.
Now, at that point, was that when the Black Mamba raised its head?
Well, I mean, like I said, there's a difference between who you are and what you are. And what I am when I step on that court is not come down. I am that kid snake.
In 2005, the Black Mamba nickname was first mentioned in ESPN, the magazine. And when Nike executives saw it, they pitched him the idea of the shoe first intended for Jordan. Kobe welcomed it. And in 2006, the Black Mamba nickname became official, even though Kobe called himself Mamba for several years already. By that time, Bryant was already legendary for his insane workout regime, with several stories told by former teammates and coaches. As an 18-year-old rookie, he was the first person in the gym, often shooting in the dark because the gym's lights hadn't been turned on yet. He was doing things that nobody had ever seen before.
Kobe was a different animal.
Right.
Like I used to see Kobe dribble and shoot without no ball for an hour. And then go out there and do the same move.
When Bryant broke his wrist in 1999, his teammate John Salley believed he'd finally be the first to arrive at the practice facility, since Kobe was always the first to arrive. But much to Salley's surprise, he got to the gym, he saw Kobe. As I walked through the training room, I became stricken with fear when I heard the ball bouncing. No, it couldn't be. Yes, it could. Kobe was already in a full sweat with a cast on his right arm and dribbling and shooting with his left. And after a couple of days, Bryant had become so proficient with his left hand that he challenged Celestin to a game of force. He made shot after shot after shot. I was beginning to feel more pressure as I got each letter. I couldn't let this man beat me with a broken shooting hand. My gosh, he was shooting threes with his left. I finally made a deep three, and the stars aligned and Kobe missed. I had escaped the most embarrassing moment of my basketball life. He really thought he could win, and he almost did. He really thought he was Superman. But that experience served him well, because in 2015, after he injured his right shoulder against the Pelicans, Kobe checked back in the game, shooting with his left. Even though the lottery-bound Lakers lost the game, Kobe still made one of his 2 lefty attempts, once again proving that normal doesn't apply to him. His competitiveness was off the charts, and Bryant couldn't stand losing, not even when it came to other sports. In 2013, a reporter, Mike Trudell, challenged him to a friendly ping-pong game, comfortably beating the inexperienced Kobe. But Kobe immediately asked for a rematch, wanting to win so badly. I beat him again the second time, but he got much closer. Within 5 minutes, he was taking the ping-pong game so seriously, and I thought, this is why he's so great at basketball.
Wow.
I played a D1 sport, and I've never competed against anybody in anything that felt as intense as that ping-pong game. In one of the rare instances that he went to a nightclub, Kobe got into a duel with a famous poker player who tried to order more bottles than the Black Mamba. In the end, Kobe bought over 40 bottles, and his check exceeded $100,000. Even though he barely drank any of it, Bryant wasn't going to be outdone.
This is what happened, okay? We were out, this new club had just opened. Across from us is Kobe Bryant. I go to the bathroom and come back, I see a bottle of Cristal come to our table. That's $1,500. About 5 minutes later, Kobe Bryant has 3 bottles of Cristal come to his table, right? So now 6 bottles of Cristal come to our table, the music, the whole thing, they put on a whole show. 10 minutes later, I kid you not, 10 bottles of Cristal go to Kobe's table. Right. Now at this point, it's clear that it's a battle, right? Okay? The manager comes over, he's like, how many bottles of Cristal do you have left? They go, we have 22 in-house, we can go get more out of the way. He's like, forget it, bring them all. I'll never forget the moment he goes, bring them all! I was like, oh my God.
This is actually kind of crazy. This is your brain.
Being too competitive can work against you.
Losing momentum.
I don't know.
Constantly reset.
That's just my take.
Kobe was a big fan of horror movies, and after watching Saw 2, he approached Lakers trainer Gary Vitti and said he could do the horrendous scene depicted in the movie. Bryant told Vitti about a scene in the film in which a contraption was placed around a man's neck that would kill him in 60 seconds, unless he was able to unlock a padlock and take it off. The key to the padlock had been surgically implanted in the man's head. So, in order to save his own life, he had to dig out his eyeball with a scalpel within a minute.
That's
Kobe was
crazy.
sure he could withstand the pain of removing his own eye. And Vitti believed him. After all, Kobe proved numerous times that he can endure tremendous pain. In 2013, in a game against the Warriors, Bryant suffered a torn left Achilles tendon. After falling to the ground in pain, he reached behind his calf and tried to pull down his own tendon so he could keep playing.
That's when he says to me, well, can't we just go back in the locker room, you tape it up, and I can finish the game?
This crazy competitiveness and mental toughness were natural to Kobe, but he also trained it. Vitti talked about the time Kobe purposely got tortured by Navy SEALs, just as a mental exercise. The SEALs waterboarded him, and Kobe endured it all, knowing that he wasn't going to drown.
And so he starts talking to these SEALs, and the SEALs are saying, "It's not like you're gonna die, you know what I mean? You know, it's torture, yeah. You let him waterboard him. Yeah.
Kobe would do anything to get any sort of physical and mental edge, like the time he got torched by Allen Iverson, who scored 41 points with 10 assists during a game in 1999. Bryant went on to study Iverson's moves, but he didn't just watch his highlights. I obsessively read every book I could find about AI. I obsessively watched every game he had played, going back to the IUPU All-American game. I obsessively studied his every success and his every struggle. I obsessively searched for any weakness I could find. Kobe even studied how great white sharks hunt seals, because he would thought it would give him a mental edge over Iverson, whom he intended to attack like a great white. In 2008, he had Nike shave a few millimeters off the bottom of his shoes to get a 100th of a second better reaction time. In 2012, before the start of the London Olympics, Kobe decided to lose 16 pounds. Even though he was already ripped, he could only lose muscle. But Bryant was expecting to play in the Olympics plus 100 games in an NBA season, so he shed weight to relieve pressure on his knees and ankles. Most players weren't thinking about next week. Kobe was planning a whole year ahead, fully expecting that he'd be playing basketball in June, meaning he prepared for the NBA Finals a year before they started. And during those same Olympic practices in 2012, there was an insane story about Kobe's physical preparation.
And he goes, I want to implement cycling in my training, right? So I'm thinking stationary biking. And he goes, no, I want to incorporate cycling. So I said, all right, so we're getting to Vegas. So I'm like, all right, so I'm looking at all the different paths that we can go to. So what time's the ride? 4:30 in the morning. He wants to be out there before the sun comes up. And then he wants to take a break and ride back when the sun's at its peak. If I'm going to do this, I want to be the most uncomfortable temperature environment out there. A couple of players had heard about this, and the next day they were like, yeah, we want to go with you. I was like, no, you don't.
And even though Team USA's practice was at 7:30, Kobe was the first one to arrive, as usual, despite sleeping less than 4 hours that night. Kobe also slept very little, and was usually practicing at the crack of dawn, just in time to return home when his...
That is something that is not healthy to do in general, right? We appreciate what he did because of his mentality, of the mental toughness it takes to endure all that. It's not really something I recommend health-wise, long-term. You know, he definitely could have had 3 to 5 more years in the career if the training regime was a bit different. But again, his goal was to have a mental edge.
When his daughters woke up, he and his wife Vanessa never had nannies, and they did all the work around their children themselves. When he was at home, Kobe was a devoted father, often watching cartoons with his daughters. But when he was alone, his favorite program was the Discovery Channel. His diet was simple, and not surprisingly, he ate extremely clean, with most of his meals consisting of chicken, rice, and vegetables. Kobe also iced his knees regularly, used acupuncture to avoid injuries, and was one of the first players to undergo PRP therapy. Bryant was such a perfectionist that in 2009, he did a pregame shoot-around, but more often than not, the ball missed the target. Gerald Henderson, a rookie who wanted to see Kobe at work before he played against him that night, was surprised that Kobe was missing. And most players would believe they had an off day, but not Kobe, who trusted himself and his work completely. So the only logical conclusion for him was that the rim was not at the right height. The rim's a quarter inch too low, Bryant said to Henderson as the arena maintenance crew brought the ladder and the measuring tape. Kobe went to the locker room, and when they fixed it, Henderson asked the staff about the rim. It was exactly a quarter of an inch too low, just like Kobe said.
Crazy.
Kobe's perfectionism permeated all facets of life, and when he wasn't satisfied with the final cut of his documentary Muse, he scrapped it all and started the process from the beginning. In 2013, Kobe posted a short video of himself playing piano, saying it helped him relax after tough losses or when he reached his boiling point. He actually learned to play Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata by ear. Now, after he retired, Kobe's Mamba mentality didn't decrease one bit. He just poured his energy into different things. He worked with different players, offering advice and doing workouts. Many business owners recall that he used to text them at any time of day, trying to pick their brains. Text at 3 in the morning and he responds a minute later, said Mike Repo, founder and chairman at Body Armor, a sports drink brand that Bryant invested in 2014. That's when I realized he was as psychotic as I was. I don't think either of us sleeps. But Kobe wasn't all business and no play. Out of all the NBA superstars, Kobe was one of the most approachable, ready to strike up a conversation with strangers. In 2016, when he visited Disneyland with his family, Kobe struck up a 10-minute conversation with a cast member who worked at the theme park, James Jacobs. And when he returned 6 months later, Kobe met Jacobs again, and Kobe came to greet him. Kobe was like, oh, hey, James, how's it going? Jacobs recalled. I didn't think he could have seen my name tag from the angle he was at. So I was like, you remember me? Yeah, I remember. We talked behind Splash Mountain. During the 2016 All-Star Weekend, a limo driver had the experience of driving various All-Stars to the game, and he said that Kobe was by far the most pleasant, asking him questions about his heritage and family life before shaking his hand and leaving a generous tip when he got out of the car. Kobe also had a great relationship with Jimmy Fallon, with whom he went on a beer run when he was a rookie with the Lakers.
Together, and we just started talking to each other. I was just like, I didn't know anybody really at the car, and why I was in there. I snuck in or something, and they ran out of beer. Kobe, want to make a beer run? You go, I'll go. You go, Jimmy, will come with. We get in your car, and we go down to Pink Dot. We knock on the glass, and the guy goes like, what do you want? And we go, we want beer. And he goes, I can't sell you beer. We don't sell anything here. We have to deliver it to you. And you pull your wallet out of your ID out and you put it up against the glass and you go, I'm a Laker.
Bryant had many appearances on Fallon's show over the years, and one of the most memorable skits was when he recited slam poetry about the 90s sitcom Family Matters, showing that his talent far outreached the basketball court.
The other appears in the place he was at. Face in a mask, he doesn't react. Just looks in the mirror, a stranger stares back.
I've never seen this before. What?
In 2011, during the NBA lockout, Kobe returned to Italy and nearly signed a contract with Virtus Bologna with the intention of playing if the lockout resumed. When he was there, he visited his childhood friends, all of whom said he was the most down-to-earth superstar you could ever
Never heard before, correct.
When he was at home, he gave 120% to be a perfect father. When he had time, he was genuinely intrigued and wanted to communicate with strangers as if they were peers. And when he was on the basketball court, he was one of the most ruthless competitors in NBA history. He was always ready to strike, like the snake after whom he was nicknamed.
Wow.
Thank you for watching. And if you like this video, we have another one.
This is awesome. There's a lot of things in there I didn't know. What about you? What did you learn within this video that you didn't know before? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching the video with me. Like, share, subscribe, stay tuned for more reaction videos. God bless. Metro Boomin, want some more, nigga.